Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 63 of the Think Different podcast. This is Will TLD again, back again for another wonderful episode. But we got some great feedback from last week's episode where we combined a couple episodes talking about the Genius Bar and we put it together into one podcast, and the feedback was positive. So we thought we'd continue that trend. And we want to go back to the beginning of the coronavirus. Now, we started this back, I believe, episode 34, episode 30. We started seeing the issue break out. So we thought we'd take a couple of clips from episode 30 all the way up to episode 36 when it was really taking off, and we combined it. And we have our old man known as Tim back here. That's right, Tim Santoro is back for an episode, as well as one of our former Apple employees, Chris, who had his baby during the coronavirus, and I'm glad to say everything is going well. And as for our update with our baby, we are doing fantastic. Everything is on schedule to have a 2020 baby, so that this way that the fans of the world can have baby Jesus born, or no, baby Luke born, to end this world in a great year, a great time, right? Is that what it is?
End the world.
End the world, that's right.
We're not ending the world.
We're not going to end the world, but the ending of the 2020 world.
End
in
of
general.
the year.
End of the year. Whatever. I'm keeping this in the episode. That is the pregnant wife sitting here when she's supposed to be minding her own business.
Because
and
words
she's not.
are hard.
Words are very hard. Indeed. But let's enjoy a wonderful coronavirus talk about Apple and the Apple Store. This is the Corona versus Apple. Enjoy this episode and make sure you subscribe every week and leave us 5-star reviews.
I want some Corona. They rush now. Welcome to the Think Different podcast now. Everybody's not going to work. No more go around. Welcome, everybody, to the Think Different podcast. This is where the beat really kicks in. Wait for it. Here it comes. Wait a minute. All right, now it's time. The beat has kicked in. We are here. The Think Different podcast is back for another week of coronavirus. We might as well call it the Think Coronavirus Different podcast. And we want to thank you for joining us. But this is a special week because we are dedicating this to the coronavirus because there is so much going on. But now it has clearly become more serious, where state of emergencies are going on. People are staying home from work. They're canceling shows. They are making sure there's empty arenas for any kind of sports. So now it's become an epidemic, and we now are here today to talk about it, and maybe we can even solve the problem. No, we can't. We have no experience at all solving virus problems.
Soap.
Apple closes all stores, corporate offices, and contact centers in China from February 1st to February 9th due to the coronavirus outbreak.
Bottom line is, any business right now is anyone that has to go to China for anything has been blocked. Even my own company, it's blocked. So no one's going there, until they figure this out. So do me a favor, don't travel anywhere and wash your goddamn hands. You turn the page, you wash your hands. And then you turn the page, and then you wash your hands.
Apple's iPhone 12 preparations may be delayed due to the good old coronavirus travel restrictions. At this time of year, Apple engineers and executives typically visit the China area as Apple suppliers start getting ready to manufacture new iPhones. But that preparation process is delayed this year due to the coronavirus travel restrictions. So productions of the new devices usually kick off in the summer, but they like to use these first months of the year to kind of get down the assembly process and manufacture and get on the same page as the manufacturing partners such as Foxconn. Some people are saying that Apple still has a lot of time to keep the iPhone schedule on track, but these restrictions are making it very difficult. Right now, a lot of Apple suppliers and Foxconn have been shut down for multiple days in February. And it's resulted in people working from home, people working remotely, limited people in the warehouses. So it's just not really an ideal situation right now. I know for my business right now, we're getting affected by the coronavirus because our suppliers physically were not allowed in their sites until March 1st. So they're not allowed in to their sites physically until March 1st. So Apple has already warned all their investors that they're not really going to meet the revenue goals this March or this quarter due to this shortage and all the store closures in China, as we explained in a previous episode. And you also got to realize a lot of the U.S. airlines are suspending the flights into Beijing, Chengdu, Hong Kong, and Shanghai until April 24th. That's still 2 months away. So there's a lot of effect that's going to happen within Apple and businesses across the board.
I was listening to Mark Cuban. He went on a Sirius XM show and talked about how the coronavirus right now, he does and I agree with him. This is not going to be a long-term effect. It's going to be a very short-term effect.
Right.
This is not going to stop the world from working. It's eventually going to be figured out, cured, go away, or we adapt to it. It's going to be one or the other. But eventually, everyone's going back to work. Eventually, business is going to pick back up. Whatever started this outbreak has really taken a toll. I mean, the stock tumbled. You're talking almost 30 points.
Yeah.
It was a lot. That's a lot of money that I lost.
Right.
From Apple. But I expect it to go back up. And again, sales of the iPhone always depend on that. But the sales are going to be down for everybody. And then the day everyone starts announcing all of their sales numbers, everyone's going to be down.
Yep.
The only ones that are not going to probably be down is probably restaurants, because they don't need anything overseas.
Right.
But anything that has to do with retail, they're all screwed.
Yeah. No.
Unless you make it here, you're screwed.
Yeah, and not many of the businesses do.
Yeah, like I said, it just keeps every day it's something. It never stops. Every day there's something. And it just doesn't stop. So I think it's crazy. You know what it is? The one thing I will say, that it did say that they're relying on tech companies to help coordinate a response regarding the outbreak. So my question to you guys: what can tech companies do that would help? Help this out.
I think the biggest thing is for companies like Zoom to if they should probably get some government aid right now to make sure that people can work from home and meet from home. I think that would be good.
They're going to need the server support too.
Right, so they're going to need money to buy server support, right? All the software that's used for at home, like classes, that also needs to get money as well. They need help with that. I think that's what the government could do to help them. But the tech companies themselves, I think, being open to helping more people, even if they don't have the money to do so, is important, right? Because how many users are going to call into Apple or who knows what saying, hey, this computer is not working. So I think prepping those people is going to be extremely important. They want as much human to human transmission reduced as possible. And that's obviously, I think, the goal everywhere. And I think that when the day comes where public transportation is going to be shut down, that's it. There's no, especially in New York, there is no way people can get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why, they're giving out laptops, Tim, for where you work, I know it's a little smaller, but, what have they done there?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, so my company, we are 15 people, but majority of them work remote. So in our office alone, we only have about 5 to 6 people. My boss actually tested positive for the flu, but there still seems a gray area. You can test positive for the flu, but it doesn't necessarily mean you test positive for coronavirus.
Also,
so he had the flu, he got over it.
Proper test too.
Yeah, that's. Mm-hmm. And there's a shortage of tests as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as of right now, in our office, particularly, we're just washing our hands and stuff like that. But a lot of our products come from China, and so we've had a lot of supplier issues currently, where they haven't been in the manufacturing plants to manufacture the products that we buy. So all of our products are delayed, and we have to send out messages to our customers to expect shipping delays because of the coronavirus outbreak and stuff like that. So it has affected our business as well, because we're not able to provide our products that we sell in a timely manner because of the coronavirus. So it doesn't really affect us directly. It just affects our supply chain, similar to Apple.
Yeah, and I hope there's a lot of people that have some symptoms, and they may want to go get tested, but they might not be able to, just because the labs don't have the equipment to. By comparison, South Korea, for example, has tested more than 200,000 people already, and they can do about 15,000 people a day in testing.
Wow.
So
that's incredible.
Yeah, versus we have about 4,900 have been tested, period.
So reportedly right now, 4 NBA players have tested positive for the coronavirus, which led them to suspend the rest of the season.
Wow. Yeah. When was the last time? I can't remember the last time. I know it's happened before, but, maybe, it's just like this in Space Jam when they suspended the NBA season because all the aliens were sucking the souls out of them.
I just want to let you all know, Space Jam can be related to in any and all topics in life.
Good point.
Like we said, briefly touched on, the Apple share has gone as low as the 260s range, but is slowly going back up. But it could, with the market is so volatile right now, it could change at any moment. But as of right now, it's doing okay.
Wash your hands, people.
Yeah, you got to wash your hands. You got to turn the page. You got to wash your hands, folks. I visited New York City today. I had to go into the city mad early because my bus schedule got really messed up. There's barely any buses moving. It's very weird to see a very half-empty bus of people going up to New York. I took a picture of New York today in Times Square where there's literally like nobody there. And you pass by all these businesses with all these signs saying, due to this, due to that, we're not open. And I went into a Dunkin' Donuts today because that was the only thing that was open because it's one of those smaller ones where you can't sit down at. So they were open. I grabbed the coffee, got out of there. And then I'm just hanging out in my office the entire day. But because of the field I'm in, especially IT, there's a lot of people, we, as a company that I work for, you have to keep moving. It's entertainment business. It doesn't stop. No entertainment business is stopping. And we have to keep moving along. And we have to make sure everybody has a machine that can't come into the office. So we are the backbone of getting this all going. Even the facilities crew, maintaining everything there, cleaning everything.
There's a few essential people to companies, and you're really figuring out who they are now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it now. When you think about people who work at the grocery, they're dealing with this every single day where they're unpacking food, they're touching customer stuff. Who knows what they'll get, based on doing all that. There's a lot of heroes that I hope people realize, and not to say I'm a hero, but I'm just saying, I'm risking my life going on a public bus, dealing with their public air filtration system, and, working to get these people, because we know now we're going to be home for a while. And this is like the newest version of me of 9/11, but, without like the pain and suffering. It's more like just like the weird feel about
for
it.
now, and I hope it doesn't happen,
Right.
Yeah.
And it's there for some people, but, right now we're lucky. And I just hope that everybody realizes the seriousness of it and that, when they tell you to stay home, just stay home. If I have to go into work once a week, okay, I have no choice. Until New York is shut down to where no one can get into any building, this is, I still have to go to work. You guys are working from home, which is lucky for you that you get to be doing that,
and that's, kind of for me.
And for Chris, especially, and this is the weirdest thing for him, because he's about to have a child in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And you're about to go to a hospital that's dealing with possible, patients dealing with this. And what kind of restriction it's going to have for you as a new father.
There's no visitors, period. I can be in the room when she delivers, and that's it.
Wow.
Right.
There's no other visitors in the hospital at all. And basically when she gives birth, as soon as we can get out of there, I want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously having a child, all that kind of stuff is super, important to be maintained in a hospital. I want to make sure you you don't become part of a statistic of a failed childbirth, that kind of stuff, right? But at the same time, there's so many, like, if this isn't handled correctly, that hospital could be overran extremely quickly, which I'm happy that people are finally starting to understand what flatten the curve means, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And think about all sports are all done. I mean, bowling could still happen. I think bowling should definitely be happening. WrestleMania got changed from an 80,000 venue to an empty performance center, which is now like 2 days long because they can't have more than 50 people inside of, one spot. So they have to make it 2 days, which is weird for me as a wrestling fan. That is just like unprecedented. That WrestleMania. Imagine having the Super Bowl with no fans there. Tim.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's just it's just like, all these people are out of work. Disney's closed.
Yeah, Disney's closed. Like, wow.
Watching aerial footage of an empty day, an empty day at Disney is just weird.
Yeah. I remember watching one of the international soccer games with the empty stadium, and the players were still cheering as if there was fans, like, in the stands. They would still do like their theatrical performance after they score a goal, as if their fans were there. But it's just kind of eerie to see like a live event with nobody there.
Yeah, and I'm watching the last 2 weeks. Last week I've been watching wrestling shows with nobody there. It's like, how do you feed off that? You know, and I do wrestling for a living. I don't know how. I mean, I've been in front of no crowd, which is fine because I've been used to something like that. But on a global scale like that,
sure,
yeah, it's weird. So this is definitely a different time, that we're dealing with right now. We're all dealing with different ways, but to me, it sounds like this is going to be here. I think 2 months at least. That we're going to
beginning of June.
Yeah, I mean, imagine our summers where we can't go to a beach. We live on the shore.
And I think there was a big problem with a lot of there was a lot of college students that just didn't care.
They don't care,
and still went to the beach.
But that's also the county's fault for allowing that because they should.
Right, that needs to be shut down.
Yes, and there was what he's talking about in Florida. There was a beach with tons of spring breakers on it. No disregard for anything that was going on. And this is where, President Trump talks about the millennials are the only way this is going to stop because they're the ones that want to go out, and that's understandable. I'm a millennial. I think we all are. I don't know about y'all, but I think you're all a little bit younger. But, I fall into that category and I'm just like, I've been staying home. I didn't go out all weekend. I cook from home.
I think the most important thing here, and I would say 2 weeks ago, there was definitely a difference between news medias saying what to do, right? There was the news media that I won't say that said it wasn't a problem. There was no issue. Go on about your day. And then there was the other one saying it. And then there was the other side, which was, kind of freak out, right? And just now, finally, all the news organizations are reaching the point where they're just like, hey, we all need to go work from home if you can, wash your hands, be, like smart about this.
Yeah.
Just, which is good. It was.
The faster we all stay inside, the faster this is over.
Yeah, exactly. If everybody was inside their home for a month, and no one went in contact with each other, this thing could die very fast. But that's hard to do in this kind of place, in this kind of country where there's just so much misinformation about this. I still see people that are like, use some salt water and gargle and you'll kill the virus. I'm like, that's not how any of this works. Like, let's
gargle that bleach, baby.
Like, just respect the scientists, respect the healthcare professionals that are telling you what to do, and actually do what they say. They studied their entire life for this. Respect what they're saying.
Yep.
I mean, Tim, I want to ask you, and I was going to ask each of, and we kind of talked about Chris about it, but what has it done for you effectively wise? What has it done for you? Anything that you had to cancel? Anything that's kind of changed with you?
Sure. So I think I'm a partial season ticket holder for the New York Yankees.
And you're a vacationer.
Yeah. And so I have about 7 games right now because I have the Sunday package, so I have every Sunday game for the entire season. And I have about 7 games that will be affected by the MLB season including I had tickets to opening day that will be affected by the MLB season being pushed back. I had 2 conferences. I was supposed to go to San Diego and San Antonio for my job. Those were also canceled. Yeah. That's real. I can't go to the gym anymore. My gym's closed. So I've been running every day.
Wait a minute, you run in public?
Yeah, running. I'll be honest. Everyone is outside running around. Like,
Hear me out. Get something, right, that goes underneath your desk that you can cycle on.
Wait a minute, do you have something like that, Chris, for sale?
Well, as it turns out, I do.
Oh,
It's called a cycling.
yeah, I need to get. Where'd you get that by the way?
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon.
of course you got it for Amazon.
Well, Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon is kind of stopping their shipments to their warehouses, right?
Well,
Except essential
it's
items.
kind of reduced.
they're not really priming
Yeah.
it anymore. Like the Prime, I think, is kind of like
Yeah, Prime is normal shipping
normal
right
shipping
now.
right now. For me, I had 2 weddings that I was supposed to film, and one was supposed to be filmed in the next day or two. They called me up Monday night. This is great. So on Monday they called me and said, "Hey, we're getting married in Westfield." Now they're about, I would say, a little more than an hour away from me. I got out at 5. They were getting married at 6. There was no way I could make that in time.
Yeah.
I called my friend Frank, who did my wedding photography, and I said, "This couple needs somebody. They're going to get married on the spot. They're just going for it." That day, they woke up and decided to go for it and just got married by a rabbi. And he took the job for like really dirt cheap just to help him out. It turns out News 12 was there and got caught wind of that ceremony, and they filmed the ceremony for them. And I just saw the news article this evening.
What? That's super cool.
So, and I was supposed to film that for them, but I there was no way I could do it. So I recommended the guy Frank. News 12 got involved somehow, and now I am going to be filming their actual reception down in August. That's the expected date I'm going to be filming it. But boy, what a way to start. Like, I'm thinking wedding video wise, this is a cool way to kind of start a wedding video, is the fact that they have that.
News 12.
And I grabbed the video from their website, and it's pretty interesting, and this hurt me too. Like for instance, there's a big loan that I have to pay for that I know I can't fully finish. So I had to put a stop on it, just for 1 month, just to kind of collect myself to see where we are, because I was expecting to get this amount of money and now I'm not. So it affected me big time. I had to stop one loan payment, which, it's not going to kill me, but, I'm going to start up. I'm going to start up next month, again, once we figure everything out, because down the line, we all work. So the good thing is we're all getting paid. And if anything, hopefully this will maybe help us save money down the line.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen too is, I don't know if you know anybody that's retiring right now, but
what a horrible time.
What a terrible time to retire.
A good time to refinance your loans, though, by the way.
Yeah,
it is a
refinance
great
any
time
loans,
for that.
yeah.
Yeah, good time to refinance. Also a good time to buy into some stocks. However,
You have to have the money ready on the side for that, though.
yeah, that's the thing. And I'm fortunate that my wife has taught me how to save money.
Oh, good.
Because I've been investing in things that are just dying right now in terms of stock.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think I hope everybody is doing some type of investment right now. If you can't afford it, obviously put it in savings, stick it there. It's what a lot of people should do. But I think that's also going to change people's financial plans because of this, right? Mm-hmm. You can't rely on the stock market now.
No.
Right now I could pull money from my stock, but it's
dropped.
way undervalued. That's the problem.
There were 2 times you could have sold your stock for Apple, and that was in January of this year. It was an extremely good time. In October of the year before that, those were the 2 best times to sell. I sold all mine in October of before, and it's rough. And it's Google, it's Apple, it's Facebook, and it's the other one that I'm forgetting about. But anyway,
Amazon.
There's another one I'm forgetting about. Amazon.
It's
thank
great.
you.
I invested in the Texas Roadhouse 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Look what that turned out. All the restaurants are closed.
Yeah, all restaurants are,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel bad for them too. Like they have to be on the delivery game.
it's not even everyone's in a delivery game now. That's probably the
Yeah.
biggest thing. But even that's not 100% safe. You don't know how I'm hoping the workers are
Right.
all wearing gloves. Now, by the way, they should all be wearing gloves to begin with. And any food, being a former chef, that is something you should be doing. I do not.
People should be washing their hands more.
Well, I mean, I'm
period.
sure that's going to change a lot of people's habits around now. But this is the world we live in. It's going to be an interesting memory to talk about down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it goes away sooner than we want to and we can move on from it.
Vaccine, or it goes away, or both. Just something. We need something.
Let's
good.
put the bubble, like the Simpsons movie. Let's put the bubble over the entire United States. But actually, that'd probably be worse because we'd all,
If you put a bubble.
if we go all into the bubble.
What a great decision to contain us worse.
Vacation Tim wants to put us all in one big incestuous bubble.
Santa Monica Apple Store had an employee that tested positive for the COVID-19. This was confirmed on Friday of last week, and their company is now taking steps to ensure all customer safety, which has
What
led.
day was that again?
That was last Friday.
Yeah, right when they started closing all the stores.
Yep.
Well, all you need is one case inside of anywhere you work, and that's it. Game over.
Yep.
No.
Here's how long the COVID-19 virus can live on your Mac, iPhone, keyboard, or Amazon box. So they've conducted some studies, and they found that the coronavirus can last up to 24 hours on a cardboard box.
Nice.
It can last up to 2 to 3 days on plastic and steel. However, aluminum was not tested in this research study. So a lot of the Apple products are made of a combination of aluminum, plastic, glass, and somewhat steel, depending on which product we're talking about. So really, there's not really a recommendation, but if you are using like the Apple keyboards, like I use the Magic Trackpad and the Magic Keyboard, you should wipe those down if you feel like they've been affected, because the virus can last on those surfaces for 2 to 3 days.
So if you're receiving a package, then
You
right.
should wipe it down.
I did that today. I did that yesterday.
Besides wiping it down, you should probably leave it alone for like. You can also just leave it in your garage for 3 days.
Could do that.
Right.
Yeah, if it's not something you need immediately. Yeah.
Right. You're like, oh, this came in, whoop, right into the garage.
Well, I actually got a package because my work computer actually got messed up. So I had to get a whole new computer, but I wiped down the box, opened the box, wiped down the computer, wiped down the adapter. Everything was wiped down, before I touched it.
Yeah.
That's the reality we're in right now. You have to wipe
Yep.
everything down.
Yeah.
You just don't know where things come from.
I hope I was going to say, I just kind of hope our standards for cleaning change after all this.
Oh,
you know?
I think they
100%.
will. Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
And to go piggyback off of that, Apple did update their cleaning recommendations to greenlight the use of disinfecting wipes on its products, but don't use any acetone or harsh solvents. But again, anytime that you're using these disinfecting wipes or any kind of cleaner product, just use it with caution. Don't submerge it. Don't overdo
And don't press
it.
super hard on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll crack your
and
screen.
If it is a screen, make sure you're using a recommended like type of liquid on the screen, because it can destroy the coating.
Well, remember that we had an issue on the 2015 MacBook Pro models from 2012
that's
to
right.
2015 where the coating was coming off.
Yep.
Ammonia or alcohol.
Right. And that was just from wear and tear. That wasn't even just from,
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
that wasn't even from cleaning it. So,
Yeah.
that does happen on these, and you'll see like these weird spots on your device, and you think it's like removable, but it's not. And Apple had a program for about 3 years to cover that issue, anti-coating. In fact, a lot of times when people came into the Apple store and they had a different issue with their display, I was like, oh, you have an anti-coating problem. Oh, we'll just put into that.
Oh, your Wi-Fi is not working because you have a dent in the corner that's messing up your antenna.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait.
you also have a coating issue.
And we'll fix that in-house for you.
It's also important to realize that they did test it with plastic, and it can last 2 to 3 days on that plastic surface. And it's also important to realize that a lot of people use plastic phone covers on their iPhones and stuff like that. So make sure you're wiping your phones down, especially when you're going out to ShopRite to stock up on toilet paper. When you come back,
Yeah.
just wipe out on your phone, wipe down any products
Your
that you're frequently
phone
touching.
is the easiest neutral
Transfer,
zone
yeah.
that people will always put. Here's the thing: I'll go to the supermarket, I'll grab a bunch of stuff, I touch my phone a few times, I put it in my pocket,
Yep.
I go about my day, I wash my hands, I pull out my phone. The whole point of me washing my hands has been mute if I haven't washed
Right,
my phone.
right.
So, Tim, any last final words?
Stay safe out there, everybody.
And Chris.
Yeah, wash your hands. You're an adult, for God's sake.
And you know what? That's a great segue to the ending of our song because this Corona song loves talking about washing your hands. Thank you very much for joining us at the Think Different podcast. One more week and have a good week.
Peace out.
Cause the things swat, 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 yeah. Tingin siya tayo